I remember being in kindergarten and coming to class one day with my brand spanking new Spider-Man action figure. Showed it to all my friends. They thought I was the coolest guy ever until Miss Miller, our teacher, came and took it away, kind of, and I've never seen that toy since. I remember all my other friends going out to recess while I had to finish my stupid math test. Instead of finishing it, though, I took it, placed it under the table, and went out to recess like everyone else. I got in a lot of trouble for that. I remember being invited to a book discussion and not having read the book, went and socialized and deterred from the atmosphere that was there for everyone else to learn. I remember my sophomore year realizing that I was failing a good number of my classes. But I also remember some good things. I remember my mom praising me when I was younger for a story I had written about an octopus shopping in a shoe store. I remember the first book I had ever read and how it changed my life. I remember getting extra credit on an assignment I worked super hard on, and realizing that I had gotten the extra credit, I danced through the house for joy. I remember a mentor coming up to me and telling me how much he appreciated the comments I was making in class. I felt like I was on top of the world. Each and every one of us has experiences like these. On one hand, we have experiences where we took advantage of life, where we showed ownership, where we took the ball and we ran with it. And on the other, we have experiences where we dropped the ball, where we didn't show initiative and ownership of our lives. Sadly, in our world, we get more and more of this, where we are dropping the ball and we are lacking ownership in our lives, and less of this, where we are doing the opposite. This is especially true when it comes to our educational experience. In our world today, there is a severe lack of individual ownership and accountability in education. And this is because of the fact that we are constantly defining more and more education by not the quality of our efforts individually, but by the quality of the system, by the quality of the organization and presentation of knowledge, by the quality of the teacher and how he imparts the knowledge to students. In short, we are constantly pushing the responsibility away from us as individuals, the weight of learning away from us, and putting it on things outside of our control. In a world full of knowledge, accessible in more ways than ever before, we are learning less and less because we are defining education in a way that is not appropriate. And who's to blame for this issue? We have no one to blame but ourselves. Our fear of challenge and work has motivated us to push the responsibility of learning outside of ourselves and to other entities, other people, other things that are outside of our concern, outside of our control. And so when we fail, when we do not learn, we feel comfortable with blaming other things, with saying the teacher didn't present that well, or he's confusing, or the textbook is so boring. These types of things that we are putting outside of ourselves and saying it's their fault, not mine. In short, we are being dragged by our butts, by the collars of our shirts, through our educational experiences. What drags you? through your educational experience. Whatever it is, it must stop. We must have a solution to this problem, and quickly. We must take education into our own hands and discover our love of learning, something that we each have in our lives individually. No matter how deep it is, we have a love of learning. We need to take that and combine it with leadership in the way of making and keeping commitments. As we do this, we can solve the issue. Because the blame is with us, we have the ability to solve the issue here and now through our actions, through ownership of our education, in the form of love of learning and making and keeping commitments to the things that we love. As we make those commitments, as we use our love to fuel ourselves into keeping those commitments, we can change the world. But why do we even want to change the world? What's the matter with the way it is now? Basically, if we don't get the educational experience we need because we are constantly blaming the things outside of ourselves for our failures, then we won't receive that educational experience and we won't be able to fulfill our purposes in life. We won't be able to touch others for good. We won't be able to bring the world into a better place. And the issues that exist today that seem so daunting will only continue to grow and grow without being resolved. In conclusion, when our learning experiences improve, it's not because of the government. It's not because of the initiatives or the laws it is taking to improve our educational experiences. It is not your parents that badger you into doing your homework. It is not things outside of ourselves that improve our learning experiences. It is within us. It is when we put forth effort and we exercise ownership of our lives. Thank you for listening to what I had to say.